Hello there, my name is Rich. I'd like to talk about animation, and today we talk about Fire from Mars Episode 6, Episode 7. No, reverse that. Episode 5, Episode 6. There we go. This is sort of the halfway point. There are 2 more episodes left to next week, and hopefully this will get a season 2. But besides that, these 2 episodes were amazing. It was intense, especially the first episode 5, because episode 5 was sort of kind of surprising because it all live up with the sort of secret society or the cultists that you don't know what they want from Jeff, and Jeff just sort of agrees to join them because the doctor, but at the same time you can't blame Jeff because he's sort of in a rock place and a hard place because he doesn't really have a choice. He actually be killed. He says no, but at the same time he can say yes and join them, but don't know what their main plan is. So this episode sort of opened up what was the whole idea of this sort of secret organization that basically they want to splinter off the main faction. They just want to be left alone and doing their own devices because they just don't like it there. Especially you find out they're not the first kind of organization who done this. This is like maybe the second or third kind of secret society, you could say. They attempted to leave Mars Code, in other words. That's sort of interesting because you get Jeff like, yeah, he's joining, but he's sort of uncertain. He knows he has no choice, but at the same time, you think he'd just say yes for his own protection. But no, he's there for the doctor because the last episode, the doctors kind of screw him over just for one night stand, and also it's kind of his finger. Be fair, that's Jeff's sort of fault because with the last episode before this, he was texting her and he moved his finger to text her. You have like, why Jeff you do that? Like, you know you're in space. You're outside the dome. If you remove your mask or anything, you'll be killed or frozen or a part will fall off. And no, he just... It's Jeff. I mean, oh god. But besides that, this is the interesting part. Jeff sort of agrees. He doesn't know where he actually is going with this sort of organization. Understanding what is the mission of the organization is sort of get out of this sort of kind of let's say frustrating sort of situation they all in, because you realize the organization, the people are all in, are basically kind of artists, scientists, very intelligent people who were sort of the same position as Jeff. They just got screwed over, he got tired of it and decided to branch out. They have basically stacked food, technology. The only place they need is a location they can recreate their own economy and water. And that's what basically that episode all is that Jeff started going with them, trying to figure out how his own place of this organization. But because some people kind of like Jeff, or there's some people don't like him, but at the same time, he has no choice just to go with it because Jeff is not offensive or trying to defend anyone. But I love it even more. He kind of crosses his relationship to Jackson, that Jackson is sort of scared what happened to Jeff because Jackson is his peep, his friend. He wants to make sure his friend is safe. But at the same time, I really enjoy that sort of deep thought asking Jeff what's the reason he's there. Like, he has not really good skills, just being an artist and working with this sort of scientist is a very dangerous, simple mission to find water to relocate themselves and create a new colony. It's one of those huge risks that he doesn't know why he's there, but he just goes for it because honestly he doesn't have nothing else to do. But I love it. They stacking up things this episode that he's kind of got, like the last episode, find out they hire a new artist for web design. When they're like, hey, you have me here. Why are you not rehiring him and hire this other person? And later on in the episode, you find out the former new artist, the hotshot, she was sort of maybe killed, or how the head manager says, oh, the ship went the wrong direction by accident. And that's sort of kind of unnerving. What do you mean by accident? I mean, it's sort of hard to miss. You have a ship, basically a mapping to go to point A to point B How you miss that much? And that sort of kind of freaks me out a little bit. And Jeff, like I understand Jeff. Like that's so interesting that you could say, stop, Jeff, stop doing that, kind of agreeing to doing things, but at the same time, he doesn't have really a choice. That's what I feel so fascinated about this show. They always give him two interesting choices. None of them he actually stay away from, but at the same time, he has no choice. You could say this moment that we hired him to take the place of the former web designer, to take her place, is sort of something that I wish he had more time to think or talk about the secret organization or the rebellion to tell him his sort of position, but he doesn't because he's sort of thrown away. He's one of those characters that he's not allowed to rethink sort of the decisions he makes because it's sort of how they keep pushing him, thrusting him the front lines without actually kind of really thinking about it. Like when they went to the mission of the middle of the whole place off Mars, nuking that certain location with water, hoping they find frozen water to recreate their own sort of safe haven. That's one of the biggest risks, and you chose Jeff to go in. And that's sort of interesting because Jeff doesn't know what he's doing. He's there trying to understand everyone. But it's one of those like kind of deep moments that I wasn't expecting because they find water, but it's one of those sort of kind of go home or die kind of situations. And you feel Jeff sort of panicking like, guys, something is sort of wrong. Like especially the thunderstorm coming through, even when the head scientists, the main leaders, like, yeah, it's coming. But a little bit that sort of you need to stay there, even the last second, to make sure how desperate they are to find water, to finally leave, and same time, if this is worth it. Is that sort of argument that they took? Like you understand the both disagreements: to leave, to stay, fight a later time, or to gamble everything right now. And that is sort of interesting because it's sort of kind of conversation that sometimes you have to believe yourself or believe that sort of universe or God, whatever you believe of that moment, will help you. Like science versus religion, but at the same time, fight with each other. You're using both to sort of comfort yourself that you're not sure you're doing the right thing. And that's sort of interesting, especially how Jeff sort of survives, not still survive, but also save the head honcho of the organization, finding out that there will be other people before him, the other secret sort of kind of missions that we don't know. It was sort of Mars, the company who set them, or the rival company, or another secret organization who want to split off, because they find three dead bodies in a cavern because of the thunderstorm, and Jeff is sort of figuring it out. Like he's sort of panicking with the leader, but she's sort of chill, trying to remind him, don't panic, everything just chill. Like there is no reason to chill. Like she really set her grave. Like she knows she did what she's supposed to do, and she sort of kind of accept death. Like whatever happens, happens. And Jeff like, yeah, no. And I love. I mean, that's sarcastically, but it's sort of like an elder trying to give knowledge to you if you understand it. But it's something like, I teach you, you teach me whatever information you have of life, and that's sort of kind of comforting. Like I'll be honestly, if I was sort of his situation, I'll be panicking. I'll be freaking out. Like, what we gonna do? We should do something. I probably waste all my air that single moment. But besides that, what happened later kind of blows me away because the leader died, like unexpectedly, because everything was sort of chill after the thunderstorm. Like everybody survived. Everybody is just chilling, trying to understand what actually happened, doing the next sort of step for their mission, and the leader just falls out of nowhere. Like it's almost like she's supposed to like die right there. It's like almost destiny. She must die at that moment. That's sort of weird because you see Jeff trying to understand because he talked to her very deeply, emotionally about death, life, and reason to exist. and she died a couple hours later, that she was completely fine. And you just see his sort of overwhelmness of that, understanding how important she is in this sort of organization to get out of this sort of situation. And you see how he doesn't really deal with it like he does, but he's sort of scared, but he doesn't know who to talk to, especially his best friend Jackson, that he's sort of worried about him. You see, like, they're not talking because it's a sort of secret sort of organization sort of stuff, and he's just sort of going with it. But the next episode make things even worse because now he has to do his new job, being the sort of artist he is, to make this sort of new pamphlet, this sort of sales pitch to the people who wants to go into Mars. But interesting enough, he's sort of writer's block, but at the same time, they give him deadline in 2 days. I mean, 2 days is not enough. Like, look, you being an artist or a cartoonist or a graphic designer or a programmer, 2 days is not enough to make a pitch or make an idea. You need at least a week, at least a minimum of a week, to have a sort of a brainstorm, to have a bunch of ideas to pitch to have to the main boss. But I feel it's sort of interesting they were him, the one who actually is in charge of this sort of kind of promotion. He sort of not earned the promotion, that sort of kind of tipped him off because someone else is related to that guy. That's the reason why he has the job. And Jeff is sort of overwhelmed after that because this sixth episode, he's just him freeing up because he has now more responsibility. He's ignoring his best friend Jackson. He's sort of freaking out. He had other duties in the organization, and now he has to make a pitch, a sort of concept art with this sort of new sales pitch to make more people come to Mars. That's sort of overwhelming, but at the same time, I think Jeff needs to stop for a moment. Like, the very beginning, I understand. I mean, I've been there. In fact, you've seen this sixth episode. You've been there. That sort of situation, you just say yes because you think you can do the job, but at the same time, it's just getting adding more things. Like, he's lacking sleep. He's ignoring his friends. His relationship is sort of crumbling a little bit. Maybe not, especially with the doctor. He doesn't know what to do. And to kick it all off, when he actually finished his sort of pitch idea, what the idea was look like, they told him, oh no, this is what you want us to sell. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't tell me anything on this. You told me a pitch, not a grand idea. This is not my final design. And the very beginning, the team liked the idea. They kind of went with it because that's sort of kind of like Western 80s, not 80s, sort of like 1956, sort of kind of like back in the day, sort of pops. It sounds a kind of interesting idea, but I love it. The idea comes from his friend who gave him a adult magazine to award him because he got his back, and he got inspired by that because I wasn't expected to come back later on. That was sort of an interesting checkers gun sort of storytelling that you wouldn't expect that sort of idea to be a just one-off joke that become important later on. Yeah, I love it that the whole team, they were sort of kind of warming up the idea of Jeffrey, sort of kind of 1950s or 1920s, sort of kind of old-timing, come back our own planet just for fun. It seems a good idea, at least to me. In fact, everybody, like even the new guy, the boss who running this kind of promotion, kind of like the idea. They think they can actually work with it. So the real boss, like his, I don't know, is his son or his cousin or uncle. I think it was his uncle that comes in. He says, "Oh, I don't like it. Like, I think it's stupid." Like, really, you think it's stupid? If yes, the team can actually work with that, because when you pitch something, you need the team to can actually feel, they can actually come up with the ideas, because you pitch something, you need to know how to set it. Like, you could feel you can make something out of this to make it work. If you don't, you've probably been running off the wall over and over again, because it's not hard to spin it. There's no how to actually sell it. And I feel at that point, Jeffrey should have stopped. Should have, like, you know what, I quit. because my plate is so full. If you don't like the idea, don't take it. I'm leaving. Like, that's the point that Jeffrey shouldn't put his foot down. But he doesn't. He just rode with it and he thinks he actually can do it. He can do the idea. But I didn't like the uncle's sort of tone, like he think it's stupid, all this, like, bro, like, even Jeffrey, after he got kind of frustrated, he moved out of the meeting, that he said, like, you hired me to give you ideas, not the reverse. That's my job. Like, it doesn't make sense with me to do for you. And that's true. In fact, I feel that sort of everybody's position, that sort of situation, that you have a good idea, but the elder or the lead of charge doesn't get it, or doesn't realize, or doesn't read the room, that situation, like, yeah, no. But because of this, he's just so overwhelmed recreating the idea what they want. Also, the ideas of the organization, he sort of accidentally sort of said yes to escape of the dome they live to their own one 2 weeks before the project. On top of this, he's sort of having struggled to actually talk to his best friend Jeff, because he's sort of upset because they stopped hanging out because of the job. He thinks it's the job, not the organization. On top of all this, his main job, or at least the more minimum, is press a button for a bunch of crickets so they can feed and use the crickets to actually feed themselves. He couldn't do that because he's just sort of overwhelmed. In fact, he kind of got a little outside of the box idea that why not use something to help him to push the button that he doesn't need to be there. Good idea, bad approach, specifically the situation he's in. Like, you have to know when to stop. Like, you know your plate is just too full to actually do nothing. I was like, Jeffrey, bro, you know this is gonna burn and crash really bad. But he doesn't. He thinks he can do it. Especially his best friend trying to convince him, like, yeah, your job is sort of taking all your life right now, bro. You have to chill, in other words. Even that he kind of argued with Jackson, even that he thinks he had almost everything in control. Like, I love it, even that, like, he thinks he has control, even talk to his girlfriend, the doctor, that he had that moment freaking out himself, like, you sure this is a good idea to leave in 2 weeks, especially we don't know we can survive. But she's sort of confident, but at the same time, yeah, like, everybody is also at the same level as you. We don't know. That's why we have to risk it, because we have everything right now or never. And that is sort of interesting. That's sort of go home, go big mentality that could actually make the new colony work. But at the same time, they lost little things, especially what happens on this sixth episode, that Jeffrey didn't realize the machine was stolen, and the machine, the clock that he set up to press the button, Otto, who used to be his boss, found the clock and took it away, but he accidentally moved the chair and pressed the button permanently, feeding the sort of kind of roaches forever, so multiplying, making sort of a mess, so much that could destroy the original colony. And they all freaking out. They like, if they find out it was us, they will eliminate us. Like, they have reference that the company could get killed by them, maybe because there's sort of subtlety that you don't know. They will cross the line. They actually got rid of them, or put them in prison, or killed, or what. I think that's the panic of everything was going on the final episode, because I was like stressing, like, please, Jeffrey, don't. I want to get in the show, just slap him, giving him advice, like, bro, don't. You doing too much. You could actually get killed. Because let's face it, Jeffrey is a likable guy. He's a loser. You want to help out. You want him to get the W, not the L. He need this. We need this. That's how you know the show is so well written, so likable, especially all the death, relatable situations, and understanding of Jeffrey. Like, oh, bro. I mean, I'm kind of hyped to see what happened the final 2 episodes next week that I hope would be good. Please land well, end it well. I don't know. I got nothing else to say. How you felt these 2 episodes? Are you tripping balls like me? You just like freaking out when you're watching the episode? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.